Living witness. To see the hand of God in the moment of difficult circumstances is an acquired skill, and it may take many of us years of experience to do so. But, when we look back at our lives, we realize that we truly have become living witnesses of the goodness of God. We can see where He spared our lives in the darkest season, sent refreshing in the driest time, protection from an unseen enemy, or even solace in the loneliest moment. In hindsight, we can see how He was weaving together our story into His. It reminds me of the story of Joseph. As we read the story of Joseph's life in Genesis 37-45, and there is more to unpack in his story than I am going to delve into, we realize that we are not the only ones who have lived a series of unfortunate events and family drama. Joseph's own brothers sold him into slavery because they were mad at him over a dream that he may have unwisely shared, and may be a bit jealous of a special coat his father gave him. Now, we do not get to see the daily saga as the Bible does not give all the details, but I think it must have gotten pretty bad for things to get to the level of selling your brother into slavery. Then, after he was sold to a stranger as a slave, he worked his way up into the favored spot, only to be wrongfully accused of trying to seduce his boss's wife. Next, we find him in prison, forgotten and abandoned by all it seems, until he interprets a dream for Pharaoh's top servants. However, when the dream comes true as Joseph says, he is forgotten for years again. But when it was God's timing for him, he goes to interpret the dreams of Pharaoh and shows him God's warning of the coming famine to Egypt and the surrounding lands. He brings the strategy of God to help Egypt prosper in a time of disaster. Then Pharaoh responds by elevating Joseph into a great place of favor as the second in charge over all Egypt. Cue the return of the family drama. My favorite moment is when Joseph's brothers show up in Egypt to ask for food because they too were experiencing famine. Joseph had made Egypt an epicenter for prosperity and distribution during the famine. They have no idea that Joseph is even alive, but he recognizes them right away. When he finally tells them who he is in Genesis 45:8, he tells his brothers that it was God who sent him there and not them, so that he could save them and actually get them one step closer to their destiny as the soon-to-be Israelite nation. He did not take the position of offense but instead decided to see the goodness of God in every step. He walked those painstaking steps year after year. Most of us would have given up long before Joseph did. But, Joseph had held on and was now a living witness to God's goodness and His faithfulness to keep His promises. Pray this prayer with me. Lord, give me the ability to see God's hand in every step. Help me see that you are faithful to complete your words despite the instability, brokenness, or even persecution I am feeling now. Help me to become your living witness.
Genesis 37. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams, and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun, and the moon, and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father, and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother, and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? And his brethren envied him. But his father observed the saying. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colours that was on him, and they took him, and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother, and conceal his blood? Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother, and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. And he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren, and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colours, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no. And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him. But he refused to be comforted, and he said, For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and captain of the guard.